LPL, the first day of the LPL, the first day of competitive League of Legends. We just had a game, OMG versus TT. Maybe by some people's definitions could be a banger. I don't know your definition of a banger. I'm Lyric. Hysterics is over there. I have a plushie cat, and Hysterics, we're going into game 2. Take it away.
That's a sick cat. Well done. I don't know why you got the cat.
Named Mole.
Yeah, of course it is, dude. The one player, or one of the few players, is not actually playing this split, so no wonder it's we don't see it very often. Hey, we're going into game number 2. TT versus OMG is a series that I didn't think I'd be actually kind of, as keen for, but TT delivered in the early game, OMG delivered the rest, and Shanghaı got MVP, the dude who has debuted in the LPL. You give it to the man who makes his first appearance. Of course you do. He played pretty well too.
Yeah, I mean, Shanghaı, like we said, is coming into the LPL with so much hype. One of the most exciting players, not even just coming from the LPL, just one of the most exciting roster moves in the LPL overall. Buy your hype train tickets now, because if this game 1 is anything to go off of, this guy is going to be a force to reckon with. Amazing game on the Gwen. Like we said, the early hold in the bot lane turret situation in the 1v3, whether it was popping off in team fights later on, comboing with Hook, the that Cold was able to land and delete Puff in those team fights. It felt like he was just buying OMG so much space, allowing Cream to do whatever he pleased, allowing, like you said in one fight, Abel to just be untouched.
Yeah, I mean, Abel was all the way in the back line, completely unscathed, and you can see Shanghaı here, right in the thick of it against TT. Gwen is immune. Like, we understand that, we know that. And Shanghaı really exploited that in this game. I think the biggest thing for me, Lyric, is the fact that throughout the early laning phase, we could see that he was tearing you apart. The old OMG top laner was getting absolutely beaten in a lane that mattered so much for the outcome of the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, New not feeling too good right now, being on the opposite side of the rift as OMG. He did try to be the win condition later on, but Shanghaı was just too much to deal with. And now we're going to be looking towards next game, next draft. TT have decided to stay on red side once again, so going to be same sides. The potential counter pick is able to come out for New once again. Maybe if he does get more resources put into him, or have something that has more agency than a Jax does early on, the matchup could potentially flip.
And I think the biggest thing is as well, like from what we know so far from the one game we've seen, AD carry is probably going to be the pick priority. AD carry support, you talked about things like Thresh, Jinx, Caitlyn, if it's left up and available. The bottom lane was picked nice and early in that game number 1, so I'm curious to see if OMG get away with getting something like the Jinx again, being given something like the Nautilus that had that mid-game impact, not the early game, guys. The 0-3 start wasn't great, but we got there. I think the big thing for me, Lyric, is what TT chooses a response, right? Because it was the Thresh takeaway rather than an AD carry themselves, rather than, maybe looking for, well, like we talked about Jhin, we talked about the Aphelios, but that came a little bit later. Seeing what options TT choose on the red side after their adaptations, excuse me. We'll get there eventually. It's been a while since we've done.
I was gonna say the ring rust still coming off, but yeah, I feel like the drafts overall were fine coming out from both sides. And like you said, I feel like first rotation should almost always just be bot lane and jungle. It feels like that's where a lot of the power picks are. I don't feel like there's any incredibly overpowered soul laners where you're like, hey, I need to get this now. It's going to be a lot of counter picks coming out. I think one place TT can index into changing up is their second ban phase. Even if they did keep picks like Vex the same, right? You're banning out LeBlanc when Vex is one of the best champions into LeBlanc. I think things like this, it's like, hey, maybe that ban could have been put elsewhere, whether it is into something like a Syndra in that case, or a Gwen. So I think you're looking at the second half of the draft rotation to change coming out from the side of TT for maybe small improvements. But I think a lot could have been changed in terms of execution, right? We were hitting on even timers where what TT was doing was a little bit behind on the play of what OMG was looking at. But Hysterics, we get to go right back into picks and bans. Again. And so far, it's the exact same.
Okay, well, Renekton Samira, what came after this? We saw Jungle, was it Lee Sin banned? Oh, Caitlyn here instead of the third ban.
Yeah, we're changing up the order a little bit. It's getting spicy. Do we keep Lee Sin? Do we maybe go for something else?
Thresh. Okay.
Massive.
So that means we have a different bottom lane from OMG. From TT, as it was Southwind who picked up Thresh in game 1.
Yeah, so I would assume OMG here assuming the Akali ban stays the same, which, you know, I don't know if it will. Okay, Jarvan being banned, so they're just going to accept the trading of junglers. I wonder if OMG still up for the Jinx, or they say, hey, Lee Sin's open, we go for Lee Sin. You accept the trade of, okay, they probably take Jinx, but we take the Aphelios ourselves, or go towards a Jhin and look to play that way. For TT, I don't think they have to be too worried, even if OMG did take away Lee Sin, because the Xin Zhao still being something that's open just means OMG just going to go back to the Jinx instead, and a potential Lee Sin available if Frigid does want it.
Okay, well, Lee Sin being talked about. We expect that one to be locked in. Lyric for the rest, supports, ADs, Aphelios just there once again that can be picked at any time, but what support do you run against a Jinx here that you need to take away from OMG?
Ooh, looks like they're already answering the question, going straight towards the Leon. So this is what I'm most interested in seeing in the LPL, right? Is that in solo queue, you are seeing a lot of Enchanter supports come out because of the 80 carries that we have in the meta. LPL, I feel like we've never really drifted towards, at least in recent years, right? We haven't drifted towards Enchanter supports even when they were meta. Even when Yuumi was incredibly busted, you only had certain players playing it, like Yanja. Now the Lulus are back, the Karmas. But I think teams just supports value the hard engage style, looking for these kills, being able to move in river so much more that it does seem like we're just going to be sticking to what is tried and true.
Yeah, supplementary engage, right? We still have some similarities from game number 1 here, Lyric. 80 carry to be picked up by TT, otherwise risk of getting a band away. We talked about the Aphelios before. I want to look further. I'm not going to pause until we actually see something different. I want to look further and see what else we get. Instead, okay, we get the Southwind Ziggs. Lyric, that is bot, right?
Yeah, we're gonna get the Puff Ziggs.
Good stuff.
You're pretty close. Puff and Southwind, pretty much the same person. But Ziggs, another champion who's very good into a lot of the meta ADs we're seeing out, right? All three of what we showed earlier in the graphic, the Aphelios, the Jinx, and the Caitlyn. You have AP, you match their range, you can nullify the lane. If we remember when Ziggs was meta, it was a lot more towards playing the top half of the map, because you can very easily just roam halfway up the map to Ziggs, throw out your ultimate, and find some sort of impact, whether it's clearing waves or partaking in that fight yourself. So for TT, gonna go with this style of play. Maybe it means they're going to set up new for a bit more success with that last pick.
Okay, well, we've already got a couple of bans coming through, though, and I just want to talk about the similarities of what we saw in game number 1. We're getting the same bans in the solo lanes. Akali coming through against Cream as well. That's a speciality. And seeing the Camille once more. So real big target bans here. Solo lanes here, Lyric. Let's go once again.
Yeah, I wonder if they would just want to try and take away, you know, a strong lane champion like the... Ooh, I was going to say the Syndra, but no, instead bring out the GP that you wanted to see so far. Again, small buffs coming into his queue. The cooldown being reduced by half a second. The mana cost also being reduced, so getting more damage, as you're right. He's
so
ready.
Happy. He wants to do it. He wants to do it. He wants to run the Rumble top lane. It reminded us of like the loopers up there. I'm trying to think of other names. You know, big players in the LPL have pulled out this banger. And here we go once again. Shanghae's most played, well, his second most played, excuse me, under the Aatrox. This is his speciality, and he wants to bring it out in game 2.
Hey, out of his, you know, top 4 most played champions, it's his highest win rate. 63% on the Rumble in 27 games. Is going to be looking to punish the GP here on the top side. Cream, though, going to go back towards that Syndra since it wasn't taken away. Ooh, no, I spoke too soon. Wanted to go towards the Corki. We get some first strike.
We do indeed. And Lyric, this is something we haven't talked about going into the game. I think we can expand on a little bit more about the build, about why it's so good right now. But Corki's something I've been abusing a little bit as well, so we'll get into that. But how do you counter this? What do you run, and do not say Azir?
No, I feel like for the side of TT, you have two options. You either go for the proactive play. Again, I still would have thought something like a Syndra's fine, instead wanting to go for the global to TF. It's something that gives you early impact on the map, or they could have tried to just default to a Victor and look to match the lane. But Captain going to be on the TF. We did see a lot of highlights of Captain in Demacia Cup on champions like Galio that do fit into a similar niche of looking to just get out of lane post 6, impact the map. You have double globals and just a ton of siege potential coming out as well. You have two globals and even like a semi-global coming out from the Ziggs. So For TT, they're going to be looking to play the map for the side of OMG. I mean, you see Corki Package, you see Equalizer, there's a Rakan there as well. It's once again all about those big 5v5 setups. We're going to be looking at dragon fights. We're going to be looking at a bunch of fun.
There's a lot of fire on that lyric. Both solo lanes are going to be bringing in some heat, and it's exciting when what we saw from OMG was a comeback in game number 1. If you're just tuning in now, well, I'm sorry, but that's really unlol esports of you, because game number 2 is running very fun comps, and you don't get to the fun comps without going through the Vex in game number 1. The Vex, it didn't work out too well in the end, but now here on the Twisted Fate, Captain's going to be trying to use those globals you talked about and influence the Rift. Also want to note that the GP is something we led up to here today, Lyric, and I'm excited to talk more about it because Parlay is pretty good, and pros are raving that the GP is just in a very comfortable spot.
Yeah, right. Trying to make up for the fact that they made it so his Q cannot proc grasp anymore. So again, a bit better on the mana cost, a bit better in terms of cooldowns. So you can look to use that more. With TT's composition, I'm just most curious to see how they end up executing, because you do have 2 side lane champions that traditionally are played to just hold by themselves, right? Both GP and the Ziggs. Maybe instead you're like, hey, we have Cannon Brush from top, we have Destiny for mid, we can use things like Satchel Charges, break down bot turret even faster. I think that's one potential avenue. Rumble also will be playing quite aggressive, so always just easy to tee up port up there, boop, and look for the kill.
A little bit of a boop. Okay, game 2, folks. Welcome back to Summoner's Rift. OMG won game number 1. I said it before, it was a comeback. And for TT, they had the early game through bot, but it all fell apart. Let's see if they can bring back the pieces here. In a comp that you mentioned has global pressure, and I want to point out, Lyric, in a meta where teleport can't TP to minions for the first 14 minutes, having Cannon Barrage, having global ultimates, that actually is kind of a big plus.
I think the only nice side about it for teams is that the change hasn't been out long enough to where I'm sure they're already used to the fact that they can't do that. So hopefully you're already theoretically playing under the impression that your enemy can come down at any time. So maybe OMG benefit off that one. They're just always playing like they could TP down.
Okay, I was going to say TT, but OMG too, you're right, you can flip it the other way. Speaking of OMG, while we're looking at Cream, you wanted to talk about First Strike, you wanted to talk about the Corki that has a very fun build at the moment.
Yeah, it's really cool to see Corki come back into the meta. First Strike just making it so you get to your core items that much faster when you are a champion. Just considered more of a late game champion with a decently expensive build. So going to be getting to those power spikes faster. Also, we've seen a bit of a resurgence of the poke AP Corki coming out, whether it's Luden's Echo or Crown of the Shattered Queen. Just when we're running into comps where there is such a range disparity, you're not going to be able to auto freely all the time, so going towards that build. I have seen most pros, though, default back towards just typical crit Corki. I personally even feel like you are getting more damage out of that build, especially at higher levels of play, where you are spacing more effectively to be able to use those autos, so we'll be keeping an eye on what Cream's going to do.
And speaking of runes, as Cold goes in after hitting level 2 first in the bottom lane, we do see Southwind with a response here with the Glacial Augment. Something you and I were talking about just after Demacia Cup, that, you know, there's no other regions really looking at it, but we've got Leona with Glacial instead of something like the Guardian, something like the Aftershock, and has been used pretty much by the LPL players.
It's something that I wasn't seeing almost at all in solo queue going into Demacia Cup. Then I remember it was PP God, I think was the first one to bring it out there. And yeah, just bringing you a ton of utility in lane. Also is great gank setup as well coming out from the slow. And you're making it so your AD carry is taking less damage. So even pretty decent peel rune. But we're going to be looking up at topside once again. OMG doing the same thing they did last time around. Setting up this stacked wave for a level 3 potential dive to come out.
But I love the timing. The ward that comes down, New knows, and you can see that Frigid thinking about coming to the top side, but can he survive? Teleport to the turret. Remember, the only place you can go, but it's done. First blood over to OMG, and Captain is late to the show, but the Fridge is on the way. The flash over the wall. Captain won't get him, but even with the stun, it doesn't matter. Frigid buying time, but Aki's still alive, and now the Twisted Fate in the middle of a 1v2. Red card picks it up, but Shanghaı burns into a crisp. It's a double. Make that 3 kills for the jungler of OMG. The bottom lane continues to ramp up. The LPL delivering, and that's a very scary Xin Zhao in the first 4 minutes of the game, Lyric.
I mean, this is rough because not only did 3 kills go over to the side of OMG, Captain lost a whole wave in mid, has no wave getting back there, potentially might even lose a little bit more, so going to be not an XP advantage, but a gold advantage going over to Cream as well. So you've picked up kills, you're winning in top side, your mid laner's getting ahead, and the only place TT have somewhat salvaged it is in the bot lane where they actually do have a summoner spell advantage.
God, sorry, just look at it top as New is getting hit with the overload. Shanghaı dominating the matchup now, and New out of pots. You're speaking about bottom lane, Lyric. I almost called you Crisp. I don't know why. Maybe that's the respect I have for you, but Frigid is trying to make something work.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, you're not that good at the game, but anyway, let's have a look at replay and tell me what happened.
Yeah, nice burst coming out. You know, Shanghaı sitting over the 50% heat threshold to where he's being able to get more damage out from his abilities. This is where TT thinks they can turn it flash gold card onto Aki. Going in, Frigid actually does land the Sonic Wave it looked like, but still not even enough damage getting bursted down immediately coming out from both Shanghaı and Aki. They turn around 1 in the end, but still you look at the minimap now, Corki was already heading up, so New not feeling confident on turning and trying to chase down for that potential kill that he could have had.
No, and Shanghaı just ends up teleporting back to the wave, and I was talking about it before, Lyric. 10 CS lead up here. New feels like he can't even walk up to it at this point, and it's a pretty good time for Shanghaı once again. The laning phase looking really good from this LPL rookie 2 games in a row.
Yeah, Shanghaı just showing up on a pocket pick at that, and now OMG are going to double down on this top lane. Cold already here. Southwind pretty close, though.
Just took all the Krugs as well. Cold and Southwind together. This is going to be a 3v3 at the end of the day, but look, Corki over the wall. Cream's hit level 6, and there's a dive already. New can't do a thing. That's a great equalizer as the Destiny comes up, but it might be a little bit too late. Cream's popping him down. The Corki hitting away. What a good dog on a random aeroplane. Who put him there? As the kills trade off. It's a double kill in the end, but is it really the end? A 2-0 start, 2-1 on the Twisted Fate, who's now stuck under a massive wave under the turret. This is not over, folks. Cold comes on in, and it's going to be another one for Cream. 3-0 mid, and Lyric, this is looking disastrous for TT.
I love the confidence. OMG going with that the last kill. We saw it was actually started off pretty even. TT finding some of their own return kills back. It's because of things like turret aggro taking down Shanghaı. But in the end, OMG able to pull it through. We're going to see how the dive starts off. OMG confident they have the burst. Shanghaı already level 6 as well, so has the equalizer to follow up. Cream is here. Beautiful equalizer landing, dealing so much damage on both members. Cream bursting someone out. Sure, Aki's going to go down, but man, just unfortunate. Shanghaı trying to walk around to enable his teammates, just ends up giving over a kill without contributing anything. And right here, Cream and Cold having confidence that they could take this kill as well. Cream holding aggro, does have the Valkyrie available to be able to get away. They lock down one more. 3-0 Corki.
Yeah, pretty big. And look, it is unfortunate that we're seeing the Noon quiver. I wish it was the Ludens on top of the Matamune, but I guess we'll save that one for another day. But either way, he's huge. Cream is a Corki who is definitely on the point of scaling before the game's even begun. So Lyric, I said it before, I'll say it again. TT not in a great position, and Aki's now even continuing to push ahead. Look, he will not leave top alone. New doesn't get to play the game.
No, New's just going to, you know, continues to be bullied. And I feel like the hardest thing for TT is they don't have too many things to threaten the straight up 2v2 in bot lane, which is why they need to commit 4 men to look for these plays. Captain coming over for the dive. Frigid is going the long way around, though.
Gold card's going to hit. It's onto the support. Cold and Able trying to get out of there, but you're right. Frigid's there, ready for the kick. Into 2. Perfectly done. It's as easy as that. Red card, pick any card, and Puff ends up picking that one. A well-executed dive from TT, and finally some gold in their pockets.
Yeah, TT do get something back there. Losing out on the rest of the map, though. We see Aki is taking the Rift Herald. Captain, once again, having to give up more resources mid to help his teammates find an advantage somewhere. New losing out on another wave. So ultimately, I don't feel like OMG lost too much. It's just TT finding themselves maybe a potential pain point that they can keep looking to all in on to find an advantage and to find ways into this game, right? Frigid is going to pick up Dragon. Sadly, no static shiv soul here today.
Lyric.
But man, this is rough.
He's 40 CS behind. He's getting proxy literally playing Cinch
And he took
and
his
Rumble
job,
in
his
one
stairs,
game.
and he took his job.
He took his job. He took his job. Oh, Shanghaı just picks up a solo kill casually. I welcomed him to the LPL, but man, when a rookie does that to you, you gotta feel bad.
Let's remember in Champ Select, he was laughing. He was excited. He was ready. Brings out the Rumble. Second most played in his career. If you missed the Champ Select, is quite the comfort pick for him. And OMG have done such a good job of just all-inning on this pick. We already see Mythics coming out on their side. Cream's so big with the Immortal Shield Bow. I mean, at this point in time, right? Any straight-up 2v2, 3v3 that breaks out, OMG are just going to be stronger. Even if it's around the bot side. Because Aki having such a substantial lead over Frigid.
Man, it's rough. It's so rough. I mean, across the board. This is the OMG we expected to see, though, right? As explosive as the early game has been, OMG were pitted as a team that were coming in with a roster that's barely changed. Shanghae's the new addition, and he's been hyped up, and I see now for good reason.
I gotta interrupt you.
What?
Pings are coming out on top again. My dude, New is going down.
Oh no, New's 2 levels behind. Aki has a full completed item, and all they need is a pierce.
New's a level behind Aki.
He's gonna get hit up as well, and you're right, the jungler's there. No! That's insult to injury. That's pure bullying, and schools won't have it.
Yeah, now we're gonna see if TT can react on the bot side. Puff's ultimate, not even getting damage off on minions, just doing absolutely nothing. They are gonna bring Frigid down to the bot lane to try and get some more damage off, but I think OMG's bot lane can just start backing off. Cream is TP, Shanghae is TP. OMG are gonna get this turret for free, and they should be able to counteract any bot side play that comes out from the side of Thunderdog.
Well, Fridge is going to try for it anyway. Captain's running down with Predator once again. The gold card at the ready. Abel staying under turret for now, but there's the TP, and Abel's still at half HP. Super Mega Death Rocket there too. Watch out for it as Cream and Shanghae both support their boy. And nothing is lost from OMG Lyric. A 5k gold lead at 11 minutes in the game. All TT have is a dragon, and New is like, oh, he's here again, dude. How tilting is this? Crescent Guard not even used, it's just poking him out. And now Shanghae's like, you know what? Equalizer in the bottom lane. Puff has no mana, has to run. And Frigid has to shadow this lane because now the Rumble wants to have fun in the jungle.
You know, right? OMG are on a team with New. That means they know how tilted he gets when he gets camped, right? They know that level. That's why Aki is just going for this again and again.
Why is he back? Just let him farm,
dude. Look at Aki. Look at him.
He's laughing at him. Oh my god, the disrespect, dude. I don't know what you're saying, but this is a I'd be all chat, go next, you know. All right, fair enough. Like 1 and 5, this is a very hard game to play. Lyric, as a color caster, it's now your turn to tell us how TT can pull this game back.
Ooh, how 6k gold lead at 12 minutes. How to pull that one back? Well, I think you're hoping that all 5. Let's say all 5 members of TT are randomly grouped up mid. You're just hoping that OMG just send, like, you don't need 5 members. What am I saying? 3 members. 1 member runs into 1 at a time.
Okay.
We rinse and repeat that 15 times. Then we create a scenario where OMG are doing Baron. They're all super low off of a previous fight. You go and you ace them. Then maybe off of all those kills and objective bounties, you can do it.
Okay, I like it. Thank you for being realistic and not telling me that it's very easy or, you know, that it can be doable. Aki now in the bottom lane. Puff and Southwind in a bit of trouble. Frigid shadowing. And he's actually going to go on in. Aki with the Crescent Guard. Sonic Wave does connect. The kickback to disengage, but Cold's on the way. Shanghae has his ultimate as well. And the red carpet ready to be laid down. It's 40 seconds away from Dragon, and OMG are exactly where they want to be. But hey, I want to say one thing. New is in the top side, and he has 68 CS. New is left alone. As soon as Aki or Shanghae are on the rift, New can smile again. But maybe not Puff.
Cold?
No. Maybe not Puff. That's a great equalizer onto the back line, but Frigid does turn it around with the help of Southwind. Under turret, the Cannon Barrage is doing work as well. Captain gets one too. That's great for TT. You give him a little fairy clap for now, because it is a trade.
Yeah, and this kind of goes with the situation that we, you know, maybe not all too seriously we're talking about like 3 minutes ago in terms of OMG getting overzealous and having to like continuously 1-by-1 run in. They looked for a dive. They felt stronger. They are so far ahead. I think it is at that point where you're like, hey, we do have enough damage to disperse them out. But yeah, I think getting a bit too ahead of themselves. Dragon was up. If you wanted to force a fight, you always could just try and start Dragon. They're probably not going to contest you. Get that one for free. Maybe move back to mid, push that one out, bring Corki down. Like, there's a lot of ways to go for those aggressive plays rather than what OMG just did. But again, I think they feel like they have enough advantage they can look for it. I feel like the ultimate problem with TT at this point in the game is they just don't have a whole lot of damage, right? So we see the dive come out. Equalizer pretty much deletes Puff right away. Frigid doing a pretty good job to where they're able to make sure they get cold. But even a bunch of turret shots were involved in this play for TT to be able to find kills on the back half, right? But still, as TT, we take it.
Yeah. It's also to be noted that New's ulti was actually pretty beneficial for TT under that turret dive. So New adding his own impact here, despite being almost 3,000 gold down. OMG going to try and push that limit even further now with the Herald. Mid turret's not there, top turret's not there, bottom turret's still there. But OMG is so deep into the jungle, they've got so much control here, Lyric. I feel like they can just walk in and set this up for Ida. Like, look at him. Arky doesn't care. He's just on top of Puff. That's an equalizer. Puff burning down. The rocket slips through. And TT can't catch a break. Arky's still healthy enough. And they might just use it for an inhibitor turret.
Yeah, looks like not going to be enough of a wave to where they feel confident to do that. But they're making their way down to punish New even more. Please, New, get the recall off. Get out of there. OMG should be able to at least secure another turret, though. So should be 2 turrets off this play. For the side of TT, you're going to send GP back. I think you're starting to look towards top side. Captain should be able to get some good damage down on this turret. I'd like to see TT, you know, make their way into their top side jungle, start clearing some of these wards. But man, this push from OMG is just so massive.
Yeah, it's so huge. New sitting down here, doesn't want to be anywhere near. Make Inferno Bomb used, but Cream just runs up. I mean, he's in the middle of 4 people. And Shieldblade may be nerfed, but it's still strong enough. Look at the damage. Abel's free-firing. New dies for the 6th time. And honestly, we burn one for him, guys. I don't know, a candle. Because this has been such a rough game if you're a TT fan.
It's just, as TT, you can't match them, right? You can't actually stop them from taking your turrets. But you also can't cross-map because they're just so much stronger than you at this point in the game. They're going to push these structures so much faster. You're going to be getting 1 turret to where they're going to be getting 3. So TT are just kind of left in this position where it's like, hey, we can't contest. Let's try and set up to play towards the opposite side of the map. Oh, wait, they're so fast. We have to go cover our turret. Oh, wait, Cream is strong enough to actually just W in front of everything by himself. Oh. And then we ended up here, all of TT getting bursted down. So, I mean, the fight and dive itself doesn't actually mean too much, right? It's what got us in this situation where TT don't have those potential options available that matter.
So what happened, Lyric? Was it just pure bullying? Was it the gerb? What happened at the top side? Because as Destiny comes through, Shanghaı was trying to do it again, but this time to Captain. I mean, Destiny to get out, and Captain is indeed out. It's not News lane. That's a first. But I was going to ask you, if you have time, what happened?
Well, let's remember that. Sure, OMG would have gotten that first kill onto Gangplank in that first dive, but they would have not gotten the rest of those kills. That was TT opting into the skirmish, thinking they have enough burst to be able to take it. Giving over 3 kills, making it so not only your top laner is massively behind, but the enemy jungler is also so far ahead. You even lost CS and EXP in that play on your mid laner. So I feel like it's the severity of how bad that first play went wrong is why we got here. Not necessarily just like, hey, they went top, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been control from OMG. You got to give them credit for how the early game's gone. They're 10,000 gold up at 18 minutes. We will not see a 4th dragon this game at this pace, and we've got 4 bounties on OMG's side. 2.5 items now for the Corki, who will have a rapid fire. Again, yes, a little bit upset, Lyric, that we have ourselves the crit Corki instead of the Ludens, the Ravenous Hydra.
I love crit Corki. Give me crit Corki all day.
But it's not as fun. Like, the nuke Corki is so much fun. When you hit a big one, you hit the big one, you know? Puff is dead. Captain's dead in 1 shot. It's exhilarating. Any other Corki is.
Okay, wait. So let me say what happens if you get a game where Corki runs that build and he doesn't hit a big one. Huh? How do you feel?
You always hit the big one. There's no game where you don't hit the big one. You always hit the big one at one point. Doesn't matter if you're behind or ahead. The big one's gonna hit. That's why it's called a big one. It's easy to hit. So I don't know, man. We all like, you know, playing corky like this is, hey, Destiny's been used. This is probably going to be defensive. Because even though that turret's a little bit low, Shanghaı has ultimate. And New, I think you'd learn your lesson. Quickness is used. He's knocked up. New just probably not having a great time. He's burning down. He survives. Oh, no, the ulti. Oh, the ulti comes in. Cole's now going to be the target, but that's just the support. Southwind has been left behind. Wait, did Cole think the Jinx was on the enemy team, I wonder? Because missing pings are going down, and Abel's probably like, dude, you played with me bottom lane. You know I'm the Jinx.
Well, I think Captain Destiny, to start that one off, to see where everyone was, maybe they felt fine with like, hey, we see a lot of members down towards Dragon. New just overstaying just by a little bit, enough first on Shanghaı's Rumble once again to take him down. Sure, an equalizer did have to go down to match it, but OMG now turning the window from that play into a Baron. So many TT's members are far away, right? Southwind and New not here. Cannon Barrage still available. Ziggs Bomb.
Let's see.
It's going to do a bit to chunk them out.
Cream's over the wall as well. There's been damage done. Baron is dissuaded for now, which is a win if you're TT. Health bars go down, and it means that the game goes on a little bit longer, hoping that they can get some of their items, Lyric, hoping that some of the scaling we see on their teams, the GP, the Ziggs especially, could get somewhere in this game. I know I'm being optimistic, but I tell you what, TT needed after this game. Someone needs to think about what they can do.
And you think about TT's potential plan of attack, right? I mean, you aren't going to send your jungle to shadow your game plan. He's much too far behind. You're not going to win out any 2v2s. Shanghaı can probably just 1v2 you himself. We can talk about potentially hovering over towards the Twisted Fate side, which I guess is always possible coming out from Frigid. But you'd expect Captain to answer weak side waves and maybe try and find a pick if someone like Cold walks too far in your jungle and just be able to pick them off first. So a lot relying on OMG's members stepping too far forward or being out of position or things along those lines for TT to find that pick that they need.
Which you and I have been saying since the 5K mark, so it feels like nothing's really changed. That is,
which has been 12 minutes.
Yeah, it's been 12 minutes of pain. I mean, look at this. Cream auto attacks. Frigid now being sent sideways. New teleports in. Baron's going down quick. There's the Mega Inferno Bomb onto Abel once again. Captain's going to try this. Frigid as well. 1 HP away. Doesn't get it as he Sonic Waves through. It's Smite down, and Cole now on the chase. Shanghaı's already unleashed hell, and New is ready to die again. It takes one more auto as Cream picks up a triple kill. There's a Penta in the base, but OMG, they're playing this one by the books. It's such a big gold lead, Lyric, and such an easy game for them to close out.
Yeah, OMG just keep pushing with these Baron minions. You know they should be able to get this inhibitor turret, potentially even 2. Their health bars are somewhat low if they don't feel comfortable continuing to stay in the fight, but Cream still wanting to put the damage out. We did talk. One of the big highlights of Cream is he's always willing to take initiative.
Wow.
It's just stat stiff, Hysteric. It's just stat stiff. They have too much money. They have too many items.
I mean, they're taking damage. The Cannon Barrage comes out. 5 members of TT are alive, but Abel's able to pick up the turret, and Frigid's still at half HP. Bit of healing will come through as Arky starts the front line, but Abel's taking more than he needs to. Pick any card as Arky takes a Sonic Wave. And there's the equalizer on top of Frigid, on top of Puff in the back line. They still want it. Captain has flash available with gold card. Come on, boys. Chase it down. You need something. Shanghaı gets away with an Electro Harpoon, though, and it ends right there. Southwind going back to base, and hey, it's Baron enhanced recalls. You got one Nexus turret. I guess, Lyric, they'll finish it another day.
Yeah, I mean, OMG just feeling extremely confident. Shanghaı's ult looks like not on too long of a cooldown for the fact that he used it, what, like 15 seconds ago? And it's already almost at half of the CD. As we do go back to see OMG starting off this Baron, Frigid trying to get in, but Cream just able to zone him off from such a long way away with those rockets. A big one did not hit Hysterics, so you are wrong. Equalizer comes out, multiple members
deleted. The big one hit
Puff
at the start of the fight. What are you talking about? The big one always connects, dude. I told you.
Well, the second big one didn't connect.
Not all the big ones connect, all right? It's only once in a few. You watch this from Cream as they go in for the final fight, and TT on death's door. Puff destroyed. And look, you know what? This is a fun way to end, because as Cream goes down in the Nexus, Shanghaë's back here again, burning them down. 4 bounties on OMG and a 2-0 to kick off their LPL 2022 Spring